Hi, this is Alexandra at Beadaholique, here to show you how to make the Marguerite earrings using vintage patina and two-part resin. So here you can see we've got some supplies and a finished project that I wanted to show you, and this one is the Amphibia necklace. And what you can see here is a little frog charm that's been painted on the inside with green, overlaying a blue bezel that I painted with vintage patina as well, and then a separate little leaf. And what happens with the resin when you pour it over like that is it just creates a really neat sort of shadow box effect, the way that the resin magnifies and kind of sets things in relief. So it's a very fun way to play with bezels and charms and paints. And I wanted to show you how to make a pair of earrings using this technique. These are the Marguerite earrings. And what we have are an 18.5 millimeter bezel. I've got a little flower charm, some earring hooks with drop detail. I've got several vintage patinas in the marble, ochre, and opalite. And for our project, we'll also be using a paintbrush, a little bit of water. We've got some toothpicks and Post-its, E6000 glue to set the charm. And for tools, I've got a pair of cutters and flat nose pliers. Second step is going to be after we glue, we'll be pouring the resin. But to begin, what I want to do is bring in a paper towel and my charm and bezel. I'm going to bring in my toothpick and paintbrush and a Post-it note, and we'll get started on the painting. You can see I've covered the work surface here with some butcher paper also. You always want to do that with patina and resin, and if you'd like to wear disposable gloves and a face mask, you're welcome to do that too. So to begin, what I'm going to start with is clipping off the little loop on the charm. And I'm taking my flush cutters just with the tip through the back and on one side and then the other, just getting that off of there. You can barely even see where it was. If you wanted to take a file to that, you could, although once you pour the resin onto these things, it sort of hides any tiny little flaws there might be. So it's forgiving in that way. All right, so I'm going to start by painting my daisy. I'm going to shake this up really well. This is the marble white. And just put that on my Post-it note, a few drops out there. The paper helps it to keep from seeping through, even though we have a few layers of protection, which is good. So let me bring the toothpick in, because that's going to help me stabilize my charm while I paint it. Just hold that down and go in on the petals here from inside to out. Working with the vintage patina is really nice. It's easy, it's permanent, and creates a nice sort of enameled effect that you can brush off if you want to get a more relief look, or you can do more if you want it to be thicker. It's quick drying. And let me turn this around here. I did notice when I was painting, and you can see here as I work, that it would be a nice effect also to leave this edging of the center in that oxidized, but I got a little bit of seepage with my paint and decided to stay consistent with that, so I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. So we got our white, and I'm going to rinse my paintbrush. I started with the white so that any residue from my water wouldn't affect that white color, because I'll be coming in with yellow now. Don't need much of that. And of course you can go over these multiple times to get a darker hue. So again, just gripping with my toothpick, I'll get that center of the daisy. I learned that this type of daisy is called an oxeye daisy, and in French that's where what the name Marguerite means, is daisy. So that on. Okay, a little bit more here. Make it match the other one. And I'll rinse that off. I'm ready to go in and get purple for the bezel, the background, for a sort of fun spring motif. And here I'm going to take my toothpick and kind of stick it into that loop as a handy way of stabilizing. You might have seen the table wiggle just a little bit. And when we work with the resin, we want to make sure we have a real stable platform that is level. And we'll talk more about that. Let's get this all into the bottom of that pendant. Lots of different styles and finishes on these that you can choose from. I'm going to want to make sure I don't have any streaking or gaps in that background. Again, the resin's going to hide a lot of that, but I'm going to do a nice thick coat on the bottom here. Make sure I get all against the edge, tuck my bristles up underneath that lip. I'm trying to stay off of the edging just to keep the look of what I did in the other one. That fixed a little bit. All right, so we're going to let our patina dry for about, I'm going to give it about 20 minutes or half an hour. Make sure that's nice and dry before we go ahead and glue the daisy into the center of the bezel. Okay, so our paint has dried and we're ready to add a little dab of glue and set that charm in. Just get a tiny bit out on my Post-it. I'll take my charm, and you can actually see I painted both sides as I was practicing. So I'm going to take and dab glue on the one that I don't want featured. And get the center of that flower. And the glue will press out toward the edges once I get it in here. So I'm just going to drop that into the center and then check it with my eye and see where I might want to slide it and press it. That looks good. All right, so we've got our two earrings. We're going to let that dry, and then we will pour the resin. Now, if you're new to two-part epoxy resin, please visit our video on how to mix and use that. And I will be mixing it off camera. I'll bring that in when it's ready to go, and we will fill the bezels. So now we're ready to pour the resin. I've mixed that off camera, and what I want to show you first off is I won't be adding the earring hook until after this is cured for 3 days' time. But I wanted to just show you what that's going to look like. I think this little dewdrop at the top is going to be a nice accent. So when I'm ready to do that, I'm just going to take my pliers and slide that loop off to the side like I would a jump ring, and then I can slide on my charm when it's nice and dry. So first off, let me bring in our mixing cup with equal parts of the resin to the hardener. What I've used here is the Easy Cast two-part epoxy resin, and I've mixed it for 2 minutes and let it sit for 10, and now we're ready to drizzle it in. I'm also going to bring in a toothpick because sometimes this craft stick feels a little cumbersome if I'm wanting to add just a bit more. So we're going to go very slowly and try to avoid dripping. So I'll slide my craft stick off the edge, come over and straight off the top of my daisy. Just going to let that resin slip to the sides of the bezel as it likes. And it's self-forming, so what it'll do is control its own travel in a sense. Once it knows where the edge is, it will adhere to those limits and create a nice domed effect. So I just want to add slowly, make sure I get all the spaces filled. And since there is glue and space underneath my charm there, I may get some air bubbles, which I will show you how to get rid of when the time comes here. Now I'm down at the level of the table, at eye level with the piece, to see how much more resin I can add before it starts to collapse, which is what I don't want. So I think I've added enough resin to that one. I'm going to move over and start the next. Slowly adding. Looks like I won't need a toothpick after all. And I'm curious to see what sort of magnifying and enhancing effect this resin will have on the daisies. I liked how my little frog turned out. His eyes happened to be peering up just above the level of the resin, which doesn't bother me because it gives it a very aquatic feel. So, oh, my resin dripped a little bit. Now I've had that happen before, where you'll see that the resin is now off the edge of my piece, but I'm not going to panic about that because I know after it dries for about 24 hours, I still have some flexibility to come in there with cutters or pliers, and it'll pretty easily come off if I just squeeze against the edge of the bezel and pull that extra bit of resin. Now I do see a bubble, and there is some more doming that I want to do just a little bit on that. So I think I've got them where I want them. Now, this resin is seeping a bit. I'm going to scoot it over to get rid of that. I think that's going to give me enough leeway. All right. So this bubble seems to be rising on its own. I see another one here. And what I'm going to do is bring in this barbecue lighter, and always be careful when using a flame. I'm just going to dip that heat over the top of each of these bezels and get those bubbles to rise to the top and pop. This one's a little bit stubborn. I may need to wait a minute or so before it actually rises to where I can reach it. Without melting the plastic underneath. That's a stubborn one. All right, so let's see if with my toothpick I can come in and just give that a little dab, encourage it to move. There we go. All right, so that's at the top now. Oh, there it went. Okay, so I'm going to let these sit, and tomorrow I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to take my pliers or my cutters and just scrape off this extra resin, and then let it sit some more, and it will be fully cured in 3 days' time. I want to be sure that the area is well ventilated, that it stays about 70 to 85 degrees, and that there's no dust or debris. I could take a shoebox or something, a cup, to go over the top to protect those as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. All these tools and supplies are available at beadaholique.com. Be sure to click the notification button and subscribe on YouTube, where we have a channel with new videos coming out every week. Thanks for joining us.